Have you ever wondered why some people radiate health without expensive supplements, while others, despite every pill and program, still feel tired and unbalanced? Maybe the real secret isn't locked inside a pharmacy. Maybe it's sitting quietly in your kitchen right now, waiting to be noticed. Across ancient monasteries and mountain villages, healers understood something that modern science is only beginning to rediscover. Food isn't just calories, it's communication. Every bite you take sends a message to your body, telling it either to heal or to hurt, to grow stronger or to fall apart. Thousands of years ago, Buddhist monks treated breakfast not as routine but as ceremony. They rose before dawn, sat in silence, and ate slowly, mindfully, with deep gratitude. Their first meal wasn't meant to fill the stomach but to awaken the life force inside the body, the same energy that fuels meditation, compassion, and long life. Today, we often rush through mornings, juggling screens and schedules, gulping coffee on empty stomachs. In that chaos, we forget that morning is the body's moment of rebirth. During sleep, your organs cleanse and repair. When you wake, every cell is ready for renewal. What you feed it first determines whether that renewal continues or collapses. Buddhist wisdom teaches that disease doesn't strike by chance. It sprouts from the soil of daily habits: how you eat, how you think, how you rest. The good news is that healing, too, begins with habits. When you nourish yourself with awareness, you invite the body's natural intelligence to do what it was designed to do: repair, restore, and thrive. This story is about 6 humble morning foods that can quietly transform that process. They aren't exotic, they aren't expensive, and they don't demand a complicated diet. But together, they form a rhythm, a conversation between nature and your body. Imagine starting the day not with tension, but with a warm cup that reminds your system, you are safe, you can heal. Imagine the first taste awakening digestion, the second feeding good bacteria, the third calming inflammation, and the rest building strength and calm focus that lasts until night. That's what these 6 foods do. Each supports a specific layer of your health: hydration, immunity, circulation, anti-inflammation, detoxification, and mineral balance. And when they're arranged in the right order, they work like a well-trained orchestra, one instrument awakening another until the music of healing fills the body. This isn't a miracle cure or a promise of instant results. It's a practice, a daily ritual of respect for yourself. Within a few days, you may notice subtle shifts: a lighter stomach, clearer skin, a calmer mind. Within weeks, deeper changes begin: steadier energy, smoother digestion, more restful sleep. And within months, something extraordinary happens. You start to feel at home in your body again. The restlessness fades, replaced by a quiet confidence that you can trust your own system. So, before we dive into the details of each food, pause for a moment, take a slow breath. Ask yourself, what if tomorrow morning could become the beginning of healing? Not just another start of another day. Because that's where our journey begins, at dawn, with mindfulness, warmth, and 6 simple gifts from nature. The first light of morning is sacred. For centuries, monks have described it as the hour when heaven and earth briefly meet, when the mind is still quiet and the body is ready to listen. That's the perfect moment to give your system the first message of the day: wake up gently. I am taking care of you. And that message begins with something so simple it's often overlooked: a cup of warm water with fresh lemon. It's not a new trend. It's one of humanity's oldest health rituals. In ancient temples, before chanting or meditation, monks would sip warm lemon water in silence. They believed it washed away the night's stagnation and prepared the spirit for awareness. Modern science, interestingly, has begun to echo that wisdom. When you sleep, your body works like a night crew at a workshop, cleaning, repairing, sorting. Your liver filters the blood. Your lungs release carbon dioxide. Your kidneys collect waste. By morning, the body is slightly dehydrated, mildly acidic, and ready to eliminate what it has gathered. That's when lemon water becomes the key that opens every gate. The warmth of the water signals the stomach to awaken slowly, like a soft sunrise inside your belly. It triggers digestive juices, hydrates the tissues, and nudges your metabolism into motion without shock. The lemon itself, though acidic in taste, turns alkaline after digestion, balancing your body's internal chemistry. You might feel the first swallow spreading gentle warmth through your chest. Almost like comfort. That's not imagination, it's physiology aligning with mindfulness. The monks would say that lemon water purifies the path of energy. In everyday terms, it helps clear what's heavy, the leftover salt, the toxins, the fatigue. Vitamin C from the lemon acts like a bright spark, protecting cells, supporting the liver, and strengthening the immune system. If you could look inside your bloodstream 30 minutes later, you'd see tiny shifts already happening, hydration levels rising, circulation improving, digestion preparing to work efficiently. What makes this practice powerful isn't only chemistry, but intention. You drink it as an act of care. You don't gulp, you sit, feel the warmth, notice the taste. That calm awareness tells your nervous system, all is well. And when your nervous system feels safe, digestion opens up, absorption improves, and stress hormones drop. It's a reminder that healing doesn't start in the stomach, it starts in the mind. So tomorrow morning, when you wake, don't rush for your phone. Walk to the kitchen quietly. Squeeze half a fresh lemon into warm, not boiling, water, around body temperature. Hold the cup with both hands. Breathe in the aroma, then sip slowly. Between sips, notice the feeling of gratitude, for the fruit, for the clean water, for your body that's been working all night to keep you alive. This moment, these 2 or 3 minutes of stillness, are more powerful than any supplement. You are teaching your body to begin the day in harmony rather than in battle. And that one choice sets the tone for everything that follows: how you digest food, how you handle stress, even how kindly you speak to others. After 10 or 15 minutes, your body is awake, receptive, and ready for the next step of nourishment. In Buddhist monasteries, they would follow this ritual with something golden and sweet, a single spoon of raw honey. But not the commercial kind that's been cooked and stripped of life. They used honey straight from the hive, still alive with enzymes, pollen, and the sun's memory. We'll talk about that next, why this natural sweetness is not a luxury, but a medicine that speaks to your gut, your immunity, and even your emotions. There's something almost sacred about raw honey. In many traditions, it was called liquid sunlight. The bees collect nectar from hundreds of flowers, transform it within their bodies, and offer it back as nourishment, a perfect example of nature's generosity and precision. When Buddhist monks received honey from villagers, they didn't see it as dessert. They saw it as medicine, alive with the same life force that sustains all beings. Modern research confirms much of what ancient healers observed intuitively. Raw honey, unheated and unfiltered, carries living enzymes, trace minerals, natural probiotics, and antibacterial compounds that no factory can replicate. Every spoonful contains the energy of the flowers that bloomed, the environment that nurtured them, and the bees that worked tirelessly to create balance. It is the distilled harmony of an entire ecosystem. When you take a spoon of raw honey in the morning, you are not simply eating sugar. You are feeding the microscopic world within you, your gut microbiome, the billions of friendly bacteria that shape your immunity, your mood, even your thoughts. These beneficial microbes need nourishment to flourish, and honey provides exactly that, prebiotics that help them grow stronger. A well-fed microbiome keeps harmful bacteria in check, supports digestion, and influences the hormones that regulate happiness and calm. In the language of Buddhist healing, honey sweetens the channels. That doesn't mean indulgence. It means restoring kindness to your internal world. The sweetness signals to your brain that life is abundant, that you are safe, that you don't need to fight or flee. And when your nervous system receives that message, it relaxes the entire body. Your heart rate steadies. Your stomach releases digestive enzymes. Your cells open to absorb nutrients. Raw honey also carries gentle antibacterial power. It contains hydrogen peroxide and a compound called methylglyoxal, both natural germ fighters that help cleanse the body from within. When taken regularly, it soothes sore throats, reduces inflammation, and supports wound healing. But perhaps its most profound effect is subtle. It teaches your system to stay balanced. Not too hot, not too cold, not too acidic, not too alkaline, the golden middle path. Just as the Buddha described. There's an important detail, though. The honey must be alive. When honey is pasteurized, heated to extend shelf life, its enzymes die. Its pollen, antioxidants, and living essence disappear, leaving behind nothing but empty sweetness. That's why monks valued raw honey harvested locally, straight from the combs. It carried the energy signature of the land they lived upon, and that resonance strengthened their immunity to the very microbes around them. So tomorrow morning, after your lemon water, wait 10 or 15 minutes. Then take 1 teaspoon of raw honey. Don't mix it into hot tea. Warmth above body temperature destroys its enzymes. Just place it on your tongue. Let it dissolve slowly, feel the texture, and notice how it makes your throat come alive. This is your body's first conversation with natural sweetness, calm, respectful, balanced. As it slides down, picture it moving through your system, greeting the gut bacteria that keep you healthy, soothing inflammation, and reminding your body of its own self-healing rhythm. It's a quiet act of kindness, one that costs almost nothing, yet whispers to every cell, you can rest, you can heal. After the honey, pause for another few minutes. This pause is part of the ritual. The body now feels awake, hydrated, and gently energized. The next stage is to stoke the inner fire, to ignite the warmth that drives digestion, circulation, and vitality. And for that, we turn to a humble root that has been cherished for 5,000 years, ginger. The universal medicine. In the quiet kitchens of monasteries, there is almost always a bowl of fresh ginger. Its fragrance is sharp yet comforting, earthy, alive, full of warmth. For more than 5,000 years, healers across India, China, and Tibet have revered this root as a guardian of life. They called it the medicine for everything, because no matter the ailment, from cold hands to aching joints to a weary spirit, ginger seemed to restore balance. When you taste it, you understand why. That gentle burn is energy itself. It awakens circulation, clears stagnation, and reignites what ancient doctors call the digestive fire. In Buddhist language, this fire isn't literal flame but vitality, your ability to transform food into life. Without it, even the healthiest meals become heavy. With it, every bite becomes nourishment. After honey, when your stomach is prepared and hydrated, a warm cup of ginger infusion continues the story. It's not a fiery explosion but a steady glow spreading through your core. Within minutes, blood vessels widen, the heart pumps smoothly, and warmth travels to the fingers and toes. It's your inner sun rising. Modern research supports what monks once learned through observation. Ginger contains powerful compounds, gingerol and shoguale, that calm inflammation and fight harmful microbes. Where chronic inflammation exists, disease takes root. Where circulation flows freely, healing happens naturally. That is the miracle of this simple spice. In daily life, we can feel it too. If you often wake with stiffness in your shoulders, or a sense of sluggishness in your belly, ginger is like a kind friend who reminds your body how to move again. It tells the blood to flow, the stomach to churn gently, the lungs to expand. And in that flow, energy becomes available not just for digestion but for thought, focus, and creativity. Preparing it is simple. Cut a piece of fresh ginger about the size of your thumb. Grate it or slice it thin. Pour over a cup of warm water, not boiling, and let it steep for 5 to 10 minutes. The aroma itself begins to clear the fog in your mind. Then sip slowly. Each swallow feels like a small pulse of life moving outward from your center. Some mornings, monks would mix a little of their leftover honey into the ginger water, creating a golden elixir, sweet, spicy, and deeply soothing. It symbolized balance, fire and nectar, strength and compassion. You can do the same if you wish. It's more than a beverage, it's a moment to check in with yourself. How do I feel? Is my body cold or warm, restless or calm? The ginger teaches you to listen, and through listening, to heal. If you practice this regularly, you'll notice subtle but profound changes. Your hands and feet grow warmer. Your digestion feels more reliable. The midday crash becomes less severe. Even your mood stabilizes, because the gut, your second brain, communicates constantly with your mind. And ginger helps that dialogue stay smooth. For people who suffer from headaches, menstrual pain, or chronic muscle tension, this cup can be a natural comfort. Unlike painkillers, which silence the body's signals, ginger works by restoring the pathways that have been blocked. It cooperates with your system instead of fighting it. After drinking, give yourself a few quiet minutes. Breathe deeply. You may feel a soft glow spreading through your abdomen. That is your inner fire, strong but gentle, ready to transform everything you eat afterward into pure energy. And now, with your system fully awake, we move to the next stage, the most brilliant color of them all. It's golden, radiant, and revered by monks as the master healer. This is the moment for turmeric, the spice that carries the light of the sun. Turmeric, the golden spice, has traveled through time like a beam of sunlight captured in a root. When monks prepared it in warm milk or water, the entire monastery would fill with its earthy aroma, a smell that somehow felt both grounding and divine. They called it the gift of compassion, because turmeric doesn't just heal the body, it soothes the spirit. For thousands of years, healers from India to the Himalayas have trusted turmeric as a universal protector. In Buddhist monasteries, a pinch of this bright powder was mixed into morning meals, offered not for flavor but for longevity, clarity, and balance. They noticed that monks who drank golden milk daily rarely fell ill and aged gracefully, their skin glowing with quiet vitality. Modern science, once skeptical, now confirms what those monks already knew. Inside turmeric lies curcumin, a compound that acts like a guardian inside your cells. It hunts down inflammation, neutralizes toxins, and shields tissues from damage caused by stress, pollution, or poor diet. Researchers have found that curcumin even crosses into the brain, protecting neurons and improving mood, memory, and focus. It's nature's way of polishing the mirror of the mind. But there's a catch. Curcumin, powerful as it is, doesn't travel well on its own. Your body absorbs only a small fraction unless it's guided by two allies, black pepper and healthy fat. The pepper contains piperine, which opens the doors of absorption, while fat acts as the vehicle that carries curcumin through the bloodstream. Ancient healers discovered this combination long before modern chemistry gave it names. They called it the Golden Trinity: turmeric, pepper, and oil, sunlight, fire, and earth. To make it, warm a cup of plant-based milk or water until it's just hot enough to sip comfortably. Add 1 teaspoon of turmeric powder, a 1/4 teaspoon of freshly ground black pepper, and a teaspoon of coconut oil or ghee. Stir slowly. Watch the liquid turn a deep, glowing gold, like the sunrise itself dissolving in your cup. If you wish, add a touch of raw honey or cinnamon to soften the taste. Then drink it mindfully, 1 sip at a time, as though you are filling your body with light. The warmth travels inward, coating your stomach, soothing your nerves, relaxing your muscles. In a few minutes, you might feel an invisible shift, a sense of calm strength replacing the morning rush. It's more than nutrition. It's alignment. Each ingredient, each movement, carries intention, protection, clarity, and renewal. If you make this a habit, the transformation unfolds quietly. Inflammation subsides. Your joints loosen, your skin brightens, your mind feels less foggy. People may ask if you've changed your diet or found a new supplement. You can smile and simply say, I started listening to my body in the mornings. This is the true essence of Buddhist healing, not punishment or restriction, but awareness. Turmeric doesn't force your body to heal, it reminds it how. The body already knows the way, it just needs the right signal. As your last sip fades, take a breath of gratitude. You've given your body water, sweetness, and warmth. Now it's time to offer it freshness, something crisp, alive, and cleansing. The monks would often end their morning nourishment with a fruit from the orchard, a simple apple. Eaten slowly and completely. That humble fruit, too, hides a quiet power. Let's see why the ancients placed such trust in it. The apple has long been called the healer's fruit. Across cultures and centuries, it appears as a symbol of life, purity, and renewal. To the ancient monks, it wasn't just food, it was balance. After the warmth and depth of golden milk, the crisp sweetness of an apple offered clarity, freshness, and grounding. It awakened the senses while gently cleansing the body. When you bite into a fresh apple in the quiet of morning, you feel something unique, the perfect blend of moisture, fiber, and fragrance. It's light but satisfying, sweet yet slightly tart, and full of a vitality that feels almost electric. That feeling isn't illusion, it's your body responding to the abundance of natural compounds hidden beneath that smooth skin. Inside the humble apple lives pectin, a soluble fiber that acts like a gentle broom for your digestive tract. It absorbs toxins, binds excess cholesterol, and escorts them out of your body with remarkable efficiency. Monks who consumed apples daily noticed their digestion grew calm and regular. Their skin clearer, their energy steady. Modern research now shows that pectin feeds beneficial bacteria in the gut, keeping your microbiome healthy and balanced, the same community of microbes that shapes your immunity and mood. Apples also overflow with polyphenols, natural antioxidants that guard every cell against wear and tear. They neutralize free radicals, support heart health, and even protect the brain from premature aging. So when you eat an apple each morning, you are fortifying every corner of your system with invisible armor. But there's another layer of wisdom in this simple act: mindful eating. The monks believed that to truly receive the life of a fruit, you must eat it with full awareness. Not while walking, not while reading, not while scrolling through thoughts or screens, but sitting quietly, tasting fully, breathing gently. Each bite becomes a meditation, a small, sacred dialogue between you and the earth that nourishes you. Here's how to experience it. After your golden milk, wait 20 to 30 minutes. Choose one whole apple, red, green, or golden, whichever calls to you that day. Wash it well but do not peel it. The skin holds most of the polyphenols and fiber. Slice it slowly, notice the color, the scent, the sound of the knife through its flesh. Then take one slice, chew it 30 to 40 times, until it becomes soft and sweet. Feel how each movement of your jaw releases subtle warmth in your body. In that slow rhythm, digestion begins not in the stomach but in the mouth, with gratitude. This simple mindfulness changes everything. Your brain registers satisfaction more quickly, reducing cravings later in the day. Your stomach receives food gently, without the shock of haste. Your gut bacteria thrive, sensing the stability of your routine. And your nervous system learns that mornings are safe, predictable, and kind. If you do this daily, you may notice an unexpected benefit: the mid-morning hunger spike fades away. That's because the natural sugars in apples release slowly, stabilized by fiber, preventing the crash that processed breakfast foods often cause. You'll find your mind stays clearer, your emotions more even. In Buddhist terms, this is equanimity through nourishment, harmony within and without. The apple also carries a spiritual metaphor. Just as its skin protects its tender core, mindfulness protects the heart. You can taste both in a single bite, the crisp strength outside, the softness within. And perhaps that's why monks said the apple embodies compassion, firmness balanced with sweetness, structure infused with gentleness. Once you finish your apple, sit for a moment and breathe. You have now moved through water, honey, fire, and fruit, 4 elements harmonized within you. There remains one more gift to complete this circle of morning medicine: the seed. Tiny, unassuming, but dense with life. In Buddhist and Ayurvedic traditions, those seeds came from a plant revered for longevity: sesame. Sesame, the seed of longevity. In every monastery kitchen across Asia, you would find a small jar filled with tiny beige or black pearls of life. They were used not for decoration, but for sustenance and strength. Buddhist texts describe sesame as the seed of endless energy, a food so concentrated with nutrients that a handful could sustain a traveler for an entire day of walking meditation. When you look closely, each seed is a universe in miniature, packed with calcium, magnesium, zinc, iron, and essential oils that keep every organ nourished. It is the earth's mineral memory condensed into a single form. While fruits and herbs bring freshness and cleansing, sesame offers grounding. It is the element of earth, reminding you to stay rooted even as your mind seeks clarity and expansion. After the sweetness of fruit, a spoonful of sesame completes the morning ritual by stabilizing your energy. These seeds nourish the bones, fortify the nerves, and balance hormones, especially in times of stress or change. In Buddhist wellness practice, they were considered sacred food for the elderly and for monks who practiced long meditation. Because sesame kept their joints supple, their energy calm, and their concentration sharp. If you listen to your body after a few weeks of adding sesame to your mornings, you may notice subtle miracles. Your nails grow stronger, your hair thicker and more vibrant, your sleep deeper. Even your mood feels steadier, because minerals like magnesium and zinc play a quiet but crucial role in emotional balance. This isn't magic, it's biology in harmony with nature. To unlock sesame's full gift, there's one small ritual: soaking. By soaking the seeds in clean water overnight, you awaken their life force and make their nutrients easier to absorb. It's as if you're giving them the chance to breathe before they enter your body. When you see them the next morning, slightly swollen and alive, you realize you're not eating dead matter but living energy. Take a tablespoon of soaked sesame seeds and eat them plain, or mix them with a drop of raw honey from earlier. If you prefer, sprinkle them over your apple slices, letting the sweetness and nuttiness meet on your tongue. Chew slowly until they release their delicate oil. The flavor is subtle but deeply satisfying, like tasting sunlight hidden inside the earth. In those few bites, something beautiful happens. Your morning becomes complete. You have moved through every element: water from the lemon, fire from the ginger, air from the apple's freshness, and earth from the sesame. Each food has played its part, awakening a different layer of healing. Now, as the body absorbs these gifts, the entire system hums quietly with balance. Digestion flows. Energy stabilizes. The mind feels clear yet peaceful, ready for the day's challenges without tension. Monks often ended their meal with a short prayer of gratitude, not to a deity, but to the cycle of life itself. They would thank the seeds for their journey, the sun for its warmth, the rain for its touch, the soil for its patience, and their own bodies for receiving with respect. It was their reminder that healing isn't an act of consumption, it's a relationship. Every grain, every drop, every breath is part of an unbroken circle of giving and receiving. When you finish your sesame, close your eyes for a brief moment. Feel your breath, steady, full, anchored. This stillness is not emptiness, it is the peace that appears when body and mind are finally on the same rhythm. You've just completed a simple yet profound ceremony, one that requires no temple, no teacher, no doctrine, only attention. And while this might feel like a small morning routine, its effects ripple through the entire day, and, with time, through your entire life. Because what you choose in the first hours after dawn doesn't just feed your body, it shapes your destiny of health, emotion, and clarity. Now that your morning ritual is complete, let's explore the science and the stories behind why this ancient wisdom still works so powerfully in our modern lives. The beauty of ancient wisdom lies in how it harmonizes with modern science. Centuries ago, monks had no microscopes, no blood tests, no biology textbooks. They simply observed life, patiently, attentively, through experience. They noticed that certain foods calmed the mind, strengthened the body, and allowed the spirit to rest more deeply. Now, science provides the language to describe those same effects, giving reason to what intuition already knew. When we look closely, the 6 morning foods form a perfect biological symphony. The warm lemon water starts the melody by awakening digestion and balancing hydration. It gently signals the liver to release toxins, a process that scientists today call phase 1 detoxification. Raw honey follows, feeding the gut microbiome, the vast inner ecosystem that makes up nearly 70% of your immune system. Then comes ginger, the rhythm of circulation, increasing blood flow and carrying nutrients to every organ. Turmeric, the golden note, quiets inflammation at the cellular level, protecting you from the slow burn that causes disease. Apple enters next with freshness and fiber, cleansing the system and feeding beneficial bacteria. Finally, sesame, the grounding base, restores minerals, hormones, and structure. Together they create balance, each layer supporting the others. Modern research confirms this interconnectedness. Chronic inflammation is now recognized as the root of almost every modern disease: heart trouble, arthritis, depression, diabetes, even Alzheimer's. When you reduce inflammation gently through diet, using natural antioxidants, fibers, and minerals, you're not fighting the body, you're freeing it. You're allowing the immune system to return to its real job, protecting and repairing, not constantly reacting. Another profound discovery of science mirrors Buddhist understanding, the gut-brain axis. For ages, monks said that peace begins in the belly. They taught that a calm stomach leads to a calm mind. Today, neuroscientists have found that the gut produces many of the same neurotransmitters as the brain, including serotonin and dopamine. That means your mood, focus, and resilience depend heavily on what you feed your inner world. Honey, apple fiber, and sesame seeds are all natural supporters of a balanced gut environment, an edible form of serenity. Then there's the idea of digestive fire, known in Sanskrit as Agni. It's the inner strength that turns food into energy and clarity. Science describes it as metabolism, enzyme function, and mitochondrial efficiency. Ginger and turmeric directly fuel this process, increasing circulation, oxygenation, and the body's ability to transform nutrients into vitality. The monks spoke of tending the flame. We might say, supporting metabolism. Different words, same truth. Even gratitude, which Buddhist tradition places before every meal, has measurable effects. When you pause to thank your food, your body shifts from the stress-driven, fight or flight mode into the rest and digest state. Your heartbeat slows, blood pressure drops, and digestion begins smoothly. This is not mystical, it's the nervous system responding to intention. So the practice isn't superstition. It's human biology in its most natural form, guided by awareness. Each small choice, warm water instead of cold, real honey instead of processed sugar, mindful chewing instead of rushing, activates mechanisms that modern medicine only recently learned to name. In a world obsessed with quick fixes, these foods remind us of something profound. Healing doesn't come from force, but from harmony. You don't have to wage war against your body. You only need to give it the right conditions to remember what it already knows, to thrive. And when you practice this day after day, the results begin to speak louder than any research paper or sermon. You'll see them in the mirror, feel them in your breath, and carry them in the calmness of your heart. But to truly understand how this wisdom transforms lives, we must look at the people who have practiced it, their stories, their journeys, their awakenings. Because behind every ritual lies a real human transformation. Let's listen to those voices next, and see how 6 humble foods became 6 steps toward a new beginning. Stories make wisdom real. Without them, even the most ancient teachings remain ideas floating in the air. But when someone lives the teaching, when they taste its truth in their own body, the words become flesh, something you can feel, touch, and believe. Across the world, countless people have quietly transformed their mornings through this 6-step ritual. Their experiences vary, yet a common thread connects them all, the discovery that the body wants to heal. If only we give it the chance. There was May, a retired teacher in Singapore who had suffered from aching joints and poor sleep for years. She began with just the lemon water and ginger tea, thinking it was too simple to matter. But 2 weeks later, she noticed her stiffness easing, her energy lasting through the day, and her nightly rest deepening. By month 2, she said she felt lighter, like my body finally stopped fighting itself. She hadn't added a single new medication, only mindfulness and consistency. Then came Aaron, a young software engineer who battled digestive problems and constant fatigue. He adopted the full 6 food practice, 1 step each week, keeping a small journal of how he felt. At first, nothing dramatic happened, only a subtle calmness in his stomach. But after a few weeks, his bloating vanished, his focus sharpened, and his need for afternoon coffee disappeared. When asked what changed, he smiled and said, "I learned to listen before eating." In California, Sarah, a mother of 2, struggled with anxiety and mood swings after years of stress. A friend introduced her to the monk's breakfast, as she called it. Within days, the slow, mindful rhythm of preparing lemon water and sipping golden milk became her therapy. She said the practice gave her something no prescription had ever offered, a sense of control. Her mornings stopped feeling like battles, they became small ceremonies of peace. And there's Than, a Vietnamese taxi driver who discovered this ritual through an online video. He didn't speak English fluently, but he followed the visuals: lemon, honey, ginger, turmeric, apple, sesame. He told his wife, "I'm feeding my health before I feed my hunger." 3 months later, he said his back pain had eased, and he no longer felt so tired after long days on the road. Different lives, different continents, one truth: when you align with nature, healing begins quietly, without drama. It doesn't demand perfection, it rewards patience. These stories are not miracles. They are reminders that the body is always listening, always ready to cooperate when treated with care. Even the challenges people describe are part of the process. Some experience brief fatigue or mild headaches in the first week, signs that the body is clearing stored toxins and adjusting to new rhythms. But these discomforts fade as equilibrium returns. What remains is clarity, physical, emotional, and mental. The monks used to say that transformation happens as softly as dawn. You rarely notice the moment the sky changes color, yet one day you look up, and the world is bright again. That's how this ritual works, gradually, silently, but with lasting power. So as you listen to these stories, imagine your own version. Picture yourself waking with calm purpose instead of rush. See your hands wrapping around a warm cup, your breath slowing, your body softening. This is not someone else's journey, it's an invitation to begin your own. And once you've begun, the question becomes, how do you keep it alive? How do you make this more than a 30-day challenge, but a lifelong act of compassion toward yourself? That is where intention and discipline intertwine, not as pressure, but as devotion. Let's explore how to build that daily rhythm, how to sustain the practice even on your busiest days, and how to turn it into something that no longer feels like effort, but like peace itself. Consistency is the quiet master of transformation. No great change ever comes from a single act of effort, it blooms from gentle repetition. Day after day, like water polishing stone. That is the heart of this morning ritual. It isn't about intensity, it's about devotion. You don't need perfection, only presence. Imagine each morning as a chance to rewrite your story from the inside out. The moment you wake, you choose between two paths, chaos or calm. Most of us rush toward the first without realizing it, checking phones, thinking of deadlines, worrying before our feet even touch the floor. But healing begins the instant you pause and choose the second path, awareness. When you make that choice daily, something powerful happens. Your mornings stop being something to survive. They become something sacred, a foundation for your entire day. Creating a sustainable rhythm doesn't require changing your entire life. Start with structure. Keep your ingredients visible: lemons on the counter, honey in a glass jar, ginger in a small bowl, turmeric beside a spoon, apples shining in a basket, and a container of soaked sesame seeds resting in the fridge. Let them greet you each morning like old friends waiting patiently. This visual reminder alone will help you keep the promise you made to yourself. Time will also reshape the practice for you. In the beginning, you may need reminders, phone alarms, sticky notes, a journal by the bed. After a few weeks, it will become second nature, a rhythm your body anticipates with quiet eagerness. Soon you'll find yourself waking up before the alarm, craving the warmth of lemon water, missing the scent of ginger if you skip it. That's when the habit has transformed into harmony. For those who travel or have unpredictable schedules, flexibility is key. Even if you can't complete all 6 steps every day, do what you can. 1 glass of warm lemon water, 1 slice of apple, or even a handful of sesame seeds is still a conversation with your body. It tells your cells, "I haven't forgotten you." And your body responds with gratitude in the language of energy and calm. There will be mornings when life interrupts: a crying child, an early meeting, a restless night. Don't let guilt steal your peace. The monks taught that missing a practice is not failure, it is simply a reminder to return. They believed discipline without compassion turns into punishment, but compassion without discipline turns into laziness. Balance them like breath: inhale commitment, exhale kindness. To strengthen your connection with the practice, keep a simple journal. Record small observations: how you slept, how your stomach feels, your energy at noon, your emotions at dusk. Write without judgment. After a month, You'll look back and see a pattern forming: fewer dips, smoother days, more clarity. Those notes become your mirror of progress, proof that the ritual is working even when you don't consciously notice it. Some practitioners create a personal affirmation to accompany their morning routine. Something as simple as, "I begin this day with peace and purpose." Say it softly while drinking your lemon water. Let it settle into your chest like sunlight. Words, when repeated with sincerity, reshape neural pathways. They train your brain to expect balance instead of stress. The final key to sustaining this ritual is community. Healing is contagious when shared. Invite your family, your friends, even your colleagues to join you in small ways. Maybe they try the ginger tea, or add turmeric to their meals. You'll find that shared wellness deepens motivation. And when someone else thanks you for inspiring them, that gratitude circles back and fuels your own consistency. Over time, this morning practice becomes more than food. It becomes meditation in motion, a quiet dialogue between discipline and grace. You are not merely eating, you are participating in the unfolding of life itself. Aligning with the rhythms that monks, healers, and sages have followed for millennia. And as this ritual matures, it gives birth to something profound: self-trust. You begin to believe in your body again, in its wisdom, in its ability to heal. You stop chasing quick fixes because you've found something deeper, a steady friendship with your own nature. That is the real reward of this path. But before we conclude, let's pause for one final reflection: the spiritual heart of the practice. It is not about food or even health. It is about remembering who you truly are when you live in balance with the world around you. When you strip away all the instructions, the recipes, the measurements, the steps, what remains at the core of this practice is something very simple: awareness. Buddhist wisdom calls it sati, the art of being fully present. When you drink, you only drink. When you eat, you only eat. No phone, no rush, no background noise demanding your attention. In that stillness, a deeper nourishment begins, one that goes beyond vitamins and minerals. It is the nourishment of the soul. Food taken with awareness becomes energy. Food taken in distraction becomes burden. This is not a mystical belief but an observable truth. When you chew mindfully, your body produces more digestive enzymes. When you breathe deeply while eating, your heart rate slows, allowing better absorption. When you give thanks, your brain releases endorphins, turning every bite into comfort instead of stress. In short, awareness transforms ordinary breakfast into medicine. The monks knew this long before any laboratory could prove it. They didn't count calories, they counted moments of silence between breaths. They saw that gratitude changes chemistry, that peace begins not when the stomach is full, but when the mind stops wanting more. And so, every meal became prayer, every sip a form of meditation. You can bring that same sacredness into your home. Your kitchen can be your temple, your morning cup, a ritual of awakening. You don't need incense or chants, only sincerity. When you wash the apple, feel the cool water against your fingers. When you squeeze the lemon, notice the scent rising in the air. When you stir turmeric into milk, watch how the color transforms from pale to gold, like the sky shifting at sunrise. These small details are not trivial. They are the doorway into mindfulness, the place where ordinary life becomes extraordinary. Through this mindfulness, something beautiful happens. You begin to hear your body's voice again. It speaks softly at first, a whisper of thirst, a hint of fatigue, a craving for warmth or rest. Most of the time, we drown it out with noise. But when you start your day in stillness, you learn to listen. You give your body what it truly needs, not what habit or marketing tells you it wants. And when the body feels heard, it responds with trust. Your digestion becomes smoother, your energy more stable, your emotions gentler. This inner listening is also the foundation of compassion. When you are kind to your own body, you become naturally kind to others. The calm you cultivate in the morning radiates outward, into your conversations, your work, your family. It's how peace expands, not through grand speeches, but through quiet mornings well lived. In this way, every act of self-care becomes an offering to the world. Your calm becomes someone else's comfort. Your patience becomes someone else's safety. Your smile becomes a form of healing no medicine can provide. That is the hidden power of this practice. It's not just personal, it's collective. So as you continue this ritual each morning, remember, you are not merely feeding your body. You are participating in the rhythm of the universe, breathing in what nature gives. Breathing out gratitude. That exchange is the pulse of life itself. It's what the Buddha meant when he spoke of interdependence. This exists because that exists. This ceases because that ceases. Your health and the world's health are one and the same. And when you live with that awareness, healing stops being a task. It becomes your natural state, an effortless harmony between you and all that is alive. Now, as our journey nears its end, let's gather everything we've learned, the foods, the stories, the science, and the silence, into one final reflection, a gentle reminder of what this practice truly means and how you can carry it with you. Every day, for the rest of your life. Morning after morning, as you repeat this practice, you begin to understand something profound. Healing is not a destination. It's a way of being, a living relationship between attention, gratitude, and nourishment. There is no finish line, no perfect day when everything suddenly aligns. Instead, there are countless quiet moments where you choose peace over pressure, breath over hurry, stillness over distraction. That choice, made again and again, is what truly transforms you. You may notice that your mornings grow slower, but your days feel longer. You have more space between thoughts, more patience with others, and a deeper sense of calm that doesn't fade when life becomes difficult. Even your sense of time changes. Minutes that once felt rushed now feel abundant. It's not because the world has slowed down, it's because you have. Your body no longer races to catch up with your mind. They walk together, step by step, cup by cup. This is how the simple act of eating and drinking can become a form of meditation. When you honor the morning, you're not escaping the world, you're entering it more fully, with clarity and kindness. You see beauty in the smallest gestures, the steam curling from a cup, the crunch of an apple, the glimmer of sunlight on a drop of honey. These are the tiny miracles you once overlooked. Now, they're your teachers. And as your awareness deepens, you begin to notice other changes, subtle but undeniable. Food tastes richer, conversations feel gentler, silence feels welcoming. You no longer crave as much, because you no longer feel empty. The void that once begged to be filled with sugar, caffeine, or noise has softened into contentment. You are learning that enough is not a number, it's a feeling. The monks used to say, to care for the body is to care for the mind. And to care for the mind is to care for all beings. When you choose to start your day with love, that love ripples outward. It touches your family, your work, your community. The harmony you cultivate within becomes the harmony others feel around you. That is the real medicine, the one the world needs most. And remember, this isn't perfection. There will be mornings when you forget, when you rush, when you skip. That's okay. Each sunrise is a forgiveness, an invitation to begin again. No guilt, no judgment, just return. The lemon, the honey, the ginger, the golden milk, the apple, the sesame, they will still be there, waiting for you like old friends who never stop believing in you. So tomorrow morning, before the world stirs, step quietly into your kitchen. Light filters through the window. The air feels new. You pour warm water into a cup and squeeze half a lemon. You lift it slowly, inhale deeply, and in that moment, you smile, not because life is perfect, but because you are present. You are here. You are healing. From that single sip, the journey continues. Every morning becomes a ceremony. Every meal, an offering. Every breath, a reminder that peace is not found in temples or retreats, it begins right where you are. With what you already have. May your mornings be gentle, your body light, and your heart steadfast. May you walk through each day with the quiet strength that comes from alignment. And may you remember, always, your body was never broken, it was only waiting for your kindness to guide it home. Thank you for listening, for practicing, for choosing awareness. Your healing is already unfolding, one mindful morning at a time.